welcome to the party, pal. My name is Sonia Mansfield, and joining me is my podcasting sister from another mister and the co-host of Dorking Out, Margo D. Hello, my friend.
How?
That is a really good impression.
I've been working on my Hans Gruber.
It is really, really good. After we're done recording, I'm going to have you make some phone calls for me in that voice. This week, we are dorking out about 1988's Die Hard, which is most definitely a Christmas movie, right? Why is this even a debate? I feel like every year this is a debate. It's not a debate. It's legit a Christmas movie.
There is something about Christmas in every scene. If it's not the music, it's the decoration, it's the art direction. It takes place on Christmas fucking Eve. I mean, what are we even debating here?
I know.
They mention God. There's a whole God thing. Like,
yes.
Come on.
It's a Christmas movie.
Yes.
Welcome to our show. That's it. That's the end. That's all we wanted to say. No.
We solved it.
No, strangely, we have never done an episode about Die Hard, and it was just definitely time. This is written by Jeb Stewart and Stephen E. D'Souza. It's based on a book. Yes. And shit, where's the book? It's called, I know what it's called. Oh my God, I have to scroll down. I'm really sorry, everybody. Nothing Lasts Forever. Roderick Thorpe.
Yeah, we did an episode on it for book versus movie. We did this a few years ago. I don't remember if it's on our Patreon wall or not, but it's also based, so the character is based on a film that it's called The Detective, and it came out in like 66 or 67. And that character, Frank Sinatra was the lead in that movie. It's a terrible movie. Don't say it. And Frank Sinatra was a producer, and he had the rights to the story. And so the author in the 70s wrote a sequel, and that's what you're reading here.
Okay.
And when they made a movie from it, finally in the 80s, legally they had to offer it to Frank Sinatra.
Thank God he said no.
Yeah, well, he knew better. I mean, he's like, yeah, I'm 100 now.
Well, that didn't stop Roger Moore from making James Bond movies.
Yeah. No kidding.
But thank God he said no. It's directed by John McTiernan. It stars Bruce Willis, Alan Rickman, Bonnie Bedelia. Bedelia. See, you're so good at this. Reginald Vell Johnson. Mm-hmm. I love him. Paul Gleason as still raiding Barry Manilow's wardrobe after all these years. Deborah White, William Atherton, also playing Old Dickless from Ghostbusters. It's true, that man has no dick. It's seriously, this movie's a classic just for having William Atherton and Paul Gleason in the same movie. Both of these guys played just like chef's kiss, like 80s pricks so well.
Middle-aged pricks.
Yes.
You know, the younger ones went to like William Zabka.
Yes.
But if you were going for middle-aged, you wanted Paul Gleason or William Atherton. He also played that part in the Val Kilmer movie you and I both love.
Yes, Real Genius.
Real Genius. Yes.
So good at it. And I want to give a shout out here to Hart Bachner, who plays Harry Ellis. He's such a fucking stupid asshole.
He's such a shithead. Every time he's like, Hans, Bobby,
I closed
night shining armor.
He's such a stupid asshole. I think I tweeted it out. I was like, oh, Ellis, you stupid asshole. This movie's just a legit classic. It started a whole trend of, there were a million ripoffs after this. It was like Die Hard on a boat, Die Hard in the White House, Die Hard on a bus. Like, there was a whole thing, and I know that there's no way you didn't see this in the theater. You saw it in the theater, right?
Oh yeah, everyone. It was the summer. It was a summer movie.
Yeah, I saw it in the theater too. And this is the time when like Stallone and Schwarzenegger were making all their movies, and action movies were like these, it starred these men who were just like superhuman. Like,
Or
and
martial arts experts.
yes.
Yeah.
And the idea that the guy from Moonlighting, which is what
Right.
Bruce Willis was known for, was making an action movie seemed really, really strange to me. And I went to see it. And of course, I totally loved it because I will admit I had a little crush on Bruce Willis at the time. I loved Moonlighting so much, like everyone. And I had a little crush on him. And I love the character so much in this movie because he is like an everyman. He's not a superhero. And it's one of the things that made the movie so special at the time. How many did you freak out when you saw it? Did you see it like a million times?
I saw it a few times. I definitely, when it was on HBO, we recorded it, and then I had that version for years and years. Yeah. Yeah, it changed everything. It was there's like not a wasted scene in this movie. There's a lot of like humor that you don't expect.
Yes.
There's thrills. There's people who get killed and you're like, holy shit, they just shot that guy. It was high tech for the time, that building. Hilarious. But the crew is like that they have is like mean and evil.
Yes.
And the ending is perfection. It's like a chef's kiss. And a lot of it is from the book, but they definitely jazzed it up. And I think the screenwriter said that he was like incredibly broke at the time. And they gave him the script. They had like 8 weeks to write it. And he was just so desperate. And so he thinks like that's like the frenetic pace of the film.
Yeah.
Like, that was just like his stressing out. Like, how am I going to make my mortgage? How am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? And that added to it.
It is. You are right. It is such a tight movie. It just moves. Every scene has something to look at. The villains are hardcore, but the characters in this movie are so detailed, so well written that you understand who they are very quickly. And there's just like little things that make me laugh, like the gunman who like hesitantly steals a candy bar.
Yes,
I'm like,
I love that.
I'm like, dude, you're a full-on terrorist. You're a villain. You're breaking into but you're like hesitant to steal a candy bar. Or the SWAT guys that go through the rose bushes and he pricks himself on a thorn and he's like, ouch. Like, it's like just like little stupid shit like that you catch every time you watch the movie that I love. And this time, one of the things that got my attention was just right at the beginning with Bruce Willis is on a plane.
Yes.
And the guy is like, you're afraid to fly. And he's like, yeah, and he gives him some advice. And the advice actually plays a major role in this movie about like taking his shoes off and making his feet into little, like squishing his toes on the carpet to get rid of jet lag. But then he like goes to like get his luggage out of the overhead carrier thing or whatever. And sorry, everyone, I'm on Theraflu. And he's got his gun on. And I was like, oh my God, this is back when you could like, a cop could bring a gun on a plane. Like even like something like that. I was like, what? Which then sent me down a whole rabbit hole of like, oh my God, you used to be able to smoke on a plane.
There used to be smoking sections.
Which
like the smoke would just stay in the section that you belonged. And I was a smoker when they used to have smoking sections. And let me tell you, that makes flying much easier. I don't know how people. Anyway, I always get it. And this is also from the novel. It's like when he lands and he's got like that big teddy bear.
Yeah.
And there's the flight attendant who's just eye fucking him as he's walking off the plane.
Dude, fucking get it. I get it, man.
Oh man. I'm like with her. I'm like, yeah, he's cute. He was really cute. Remember he did all those wine cooler commercials too?
Bruce, 80s Bruce Willis was cute as fuck. And
goofy.
Yeah. And by the way, like, I know that like middle-aged, that's silly of me. Let me rephrase that. Women in their 30s and up were like, yes to Bruce Willis, right? I was like,
and I was younger than
dude,
that.
I was like 14. I was like 14 or something. And I was like, yes, Bruce Willis. I was in.
He was so funny on Moonlighting. which is a problematic show now.
For sure.
But at the time, every week I recorded that show every week.
Yep.
He was so damn funny. And he did like Levi's commercials, and then he did this, and then he was a big star. And then he was in like Blind Date or something like that.
Yeah.
He was in a couple of bad
some
films.
bad movies. This was the first one that was like, this was a hit.
And he got $5 million for it, which was a big deal at the time. And then
that made him like the highest paid actor at the time, I think. It was
right.
insane that he got that much money, considering he had made Blind Date, and I think he did that movie Sunset, which nobody saw.
I don't even know that one.
I want to say Burt Reynolds was in it too.
Yikes.
Yeah. They made like no money. His movies, both of them, really bombed.
Burt Reynolds movies are either really great or total pieces of shit. There's just nothing in between.
They can't all be Smokey and the Bandit too.
Hey, respect for Smokey and the Bandit.
Mm-hmm. We did an episode on that.
Yeah.
So John Mcclane, that's Bruce Willis's character, is a New York cop who is going to see his estranged wife in LA, where she's got a job working for the Nakatomi company. What do they do? Do they ever say what they do?
No, not really.
I don't think so.
She was like community affairs or something like that. I'm going to guess like communications or something. And he meets Argyle, by the way. Argyle is his driver.
Argyle.
And that Argyle is supposed to be like, oh, see, he's in LA. Everything's weird in LA. So he's like Argyle, who plays Christmas Time in Hollis, Queens from Run DMC.
Yes.
Like one of my favorite Christmas songs.
I love that one
period.
too. Same.
He drops him off, and basically their whole, his life story. He and the wife split up. She got a job out west. He thought she would fail, but she's like thriving.
Yes.
She wants him to move to LA, and he's kind of like, no, I'm a New York guy. And that's their tension. And then we have Bonnie Bedelia, who plays his wife, and she's such a fantastic actor.
Yes.
Like, there's scenes where she just mops the floor with him.
Yes.
Like, she is propping him up.
Let's
say that.
I love that they got, I mean, obviously, like, this is going to come.
High quality.
Yes. They got like a real actress for that part, not just another pretty face, I guess. They didn't
a bimbo in there.
Yeah. They brought someone who brings something to the role that you could see being married to a New York cop.
Right, but also being someone who's like no bullshit.
Yeah, I really liked her.
I love her, Holly. She's great.
And then we meet her coworker, Harry Ellis, gross Harry Ellis, who's
coked out of his mind,
totally coked out of his mind, and he's just gross, right? Like, let me take you to dinner. Like, he's just so nasty, and it's like they really show that this world is a whole other world to John Mcclane. Like, he walks into the party, there's people everywhere, there's food everywhere, there's booze everywhere, you got Harry doing coke everywhere, and there's like people having sex in the office, and
it's a typical office party. I remember those.
I miss office holiday parties. That was my time to shine.
God, did people hook up? So many of those, yeah.
It was the night of bad decisions.
Yep.
Bad decisions. Yes. And all of this is happening in, do they call it the Nakatomi Plaza or Nakatomi Building? I forget. But it's all happening in this one building that is still under construction. So it's a high rise. There's like 40 floors or something, and the top 10 are still under construction. And I think it's Nakatomi Plaza because you can still get like, you could go online right now and buy a sweatshirt that's like, I survived the Nakatomi Plaza holiday party. Like, you could buy
Which is brilliant.
Yeah. I bought one for my niece Lorelai a million years ago. My niece Lorelai, obsessed with Alan Rickman in this movie.
When he shows up, this is his first movie, by the way.
Yes.
He was on stage before this. He's 40 years old. When he shows up, it's like Darth Vader time. Like, it's that level.
Yes. He's a
of
real
malevolence.
A real villain.
He's a real like ass kicker. Like, you just see him with Gudinov and all these like German guys and with their mullets and stuff. And it's just like, or their Fabio hair. And they're just like, no bullshit. Like, you just totally, I actually squeal when I see Alan Rickman now. It just makes me so happy.
He's so fucking good in this movie. Yeah. He's so good, and he is the template for the villains that we would see after Die Hard, because he's just so good. They just jackpot with this guy.
He's evil, but he can also be super charming.
Yes.
And he could be when he has the scene with Bruce Willis where he fakes an American
Oh my God,
accent.
I love it so much.
Oh, I love that scene. He's such a weasel.
Yes.
But he's a smart weasel. And it's typical of these movies. It's like, it's a terrorist thing, but no, they're really just robbing.
Yes.
Like it's just, and I always think like, this is my thing when there's a heist, and I like a good heist movie. I always wonder, like, I could never be in that crew because I'm afraid they would kill me in 2 seconds.
Yes.
Like as soon as they got what they needed from me, I would never trust people to pay me later.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's the one guy, he's the black guy who he infiltrates the computer. It's adorable, these computer systems. Everybody drink. It's really cute, but he is like a psycho. He's just laughing as he's shooting people and looking up shit. And they're just all badasses.
Yeah, they're like placing bets on whether or not Hans Gruber is going to shoot the head executive of Nakatomi.
They're taking bets.
Yeah, they're placing bets. So that's Clarence Gilliard as Theo. He's the tech specialist. And then we have Alexander Goodenough.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like good enough. Goodenough. Who was apparently a ballet dancer.
You don't remember that?
No.
You might be. I remember that because he was on PBS a lot.
Oh.
And then he was in the Money Pit. He's so fucking funny in the Money Pit.
Oh my God,
I
haven't seen the Money Pit in a really, really, really long time.
We should probably put that on the list.
All right.
That's a super enjoyable movie,
and
he's really
down
funny in that.
Money Pit. Okay.
Yep.
Wrote it down. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just love. This is one of those episodes where it's going to be I love. But the villains are real villains. The stakes are really high. Their plan makes sense to me. Like, I understand what they're doing. Everything just works. I love Bruce Willis in this role, and I love the relationship he has with Al.
That's the love story.
That's the love story.
When they embrace at the end. But Reginald Van Johnson he's Al. He's a foot cop. What do they call it? A flat foot. He's on the beat. He's getting his Twinkies and stuff like that. And his wife is pregnant, and he gets the call, go check out the building. And there's this whole thing, Bruce Willis calling, 911, and they're like, is this an emergency line?
Yeah.
Lady, am I ordering a pizza? Like, I love all of this shit. But they connect, and Al figures out, like, oh, this guy's a cop. He's in there. The building's being taken over, and the police come out. The FBI comes out, and then we also have William Atherton as a reporter.
He's such a dick.
And he's such a dick. I love the stuff at the TV station, too, when they're doing, like, the Helsinki syndrome or whatever that is that they're trying to talk.
Helsinki, Sweden, Finland.
Moron. But just like they have an expert on to talk about, like, just blathering on. And somehow, I mean, this is pre-internet, so you have to kind of understand, like, this is like a CB channel or something. Like, that's how they're able to communicate. But Hans can hear everything they're doing. But Hans also has to keep busy, and get the money. But there's like bonds or something. There's cash money, paper money. And it's like $600 million, and they're going down so they're stealing that. And Bruce Willis, he's at the party when all the shooting happens. He sneaks away, and because he's a cop, he knows how to use weapons, and he knows how to think like them. And so he's trying to outsmart them. And the scene where he first meets that first German, and then he tackles him and breaks his neck.
Yes.
And then sends him in the elevator. I remember in the movie theater, people freaking out. It was so cool. But that's why he says, how, which I love.
Such a good impression.
Thank you. I worked on it.
Yeah, I love it. Alan Rickman. Like you said, he is so menacing and scary, but he is a little charming, and he's He's really, really smart. And I think the movie's really smart. And They got lucky with this because, like you said, they were writing it on the fly, and there was a lot of things going against this movie. But in the movie, whenever you're thinking, well, why don't they just do blank? They answer that, or that is tried, and here's why that doesn't work, and then they move on to the next thing. And Hans is very smart. He's very level-headed. I think the scene where Holly goes in to talk to him and is like, I'm in charge because you killed my boss. And I like their back and forth. Just, we have a pregnant lady here. And like, he immediately goes to roll his eyes, and she's like, she's not due for a couple more weeks, but she needs to sit somewhere more comfortable. I like that he's willing to like give her a couch. Like, it's like, he's not like he's a total villain, such a monster. He's probably going to kill all these people, but he's still like, in order to not make them all freak out, he's like, yes, you can have a couch, and
you can have bathroom breaks.
And you can have bathroom breaks. Like, he's very smart. He's very calculating. And I love when she says, like, I don't like being this close to you. Like, I get it. Because I also would want to fuck him. I get it. She wants to fuck him.
He's sexy.
Yeah, she's like, I don't want to be this close to you. I'm going to cheat on my husband.
Don't they eventually break up anyway?
I think they do.
I think the third one. Yeah.
See, I don't like the other movies. I know that like Die Hard 2 has its fans, and I probably could watch Die Hard 2 and would probably think it was fine. Like,
I have no interest in it.
But I really don't like the other ones because they take away the thing that worked so well for me in this one, which is that John McClane was an everyman.
Yeah, an owl.
Yeah, and now like anytime he goes anywhere, the same shit happens to him again. Like, not this again. Like, I'm like, no, thank you. No, thank you. I'm going to pass.
Yeah.
Because how many are there now? There's so many. There's like Die Hard 2.
There's Die Hard 3 in New York.
Yeah. Is that Die Hard with a Vengeance?
And there's Die Hard with a Vengeance. There's
Isn't there like a Die Harder?
Isn't there one with like his son or something?
Yes.
Like
so
yeah,
many.
after a while it gets like it's gonna be his grandson. It's gonna be yeah. It gets
here we go. Die Hard 2, Die Hard with a Vengeance, Live Free or Die Hard. Then there's A Good Day to Die Hard. Then there's just one called Mcclane.
What?
I'm like, that's a lot of Die Hard movies.
Is that the one Mel Gibson's is directing, or no? That's Lethal Weapon.
That's a Lethal Weapon.
Yeah, I'm not watching that either. Yeah, so that we'll go back to it.
Okay.
William Atherton is such a fucking asshole, and this movie's like, look, it's dated. It has like things that are like problematic. They have like, she has a maid that's hola, and he threatens her immigration status or whatever. And he puts his life in jeopardy, John McClane and her family in jeopardy.
Yes. Just
to get the story. But we were supposed to, like, all these people are assholes. I mean, we only trust Argyle, John, and Al.
Yes.
And Holly. Like, that's it.
Yeah, everyone else is stupid. Well, they're not stupid, but they're making bad choices. They're dangerous. Yes, they're dangerous. Well, exactly.
I would argue that Paul Gleason is stupid in this movie. That guy's a moron.
He is actively stupid. He makes a ton of bad decisions. He constantly takes Al's good ideas and puts them as his own. He's like the deputy chief of police. He doesn't give a fuck about anybody, it appears. He just wants to be in charge. Then the FBI takes over, and then we have Agents Johnson and Johnson. No
Which
relation.
I thought that was fun. I thought that was funny. And one of them is like, he's like swinging his dick, while they're in the helicopter flying around. Like, I feel like I'm back in Vietnam. The other kid goes, I was a junior high, dickhead. Yes. Like, there's lots of great little scenes.
There are. There's so many. It's such a good movie. It's just a perfect action movie. It really is.
Yeah.
There's really tense scenes, like the scene where, because John Mcclane is very vulnerable. He's not wearing any like bulletproof vests or anything. He doesn't even have shoes. And there's this,
No, I was gonna say, and then his feet get fucked up.
Yeah,
and then I know that.
Yeah, there's like a whole thing where he has to walk across broken glass. And it's like, what a fucking nightmare. What a nightmare to have to do that. And it's so gross. And imagine walking on that and doing all the things that he's doing. No, thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
And, at one point he's like jumping off the roof. He's got like the hose tied around him. He has to like, everything that can go wrong starts to go wrong there. Like he jumps from the roof. The good news is the hose actually holds him. The bad news is he can't break through the window. He has to shoot through the window. He gets through the window. Then the hose falls over and starts pulling him down. Like all of this stuff. It's right out of like Harold Lloyd's Safety Last, one of the funniest like silent movies ever. Like go back and watch it. I mean, it's literally right from that, but like anything that could go wrong goes wrong. And he's got gross bloody feet. It's disgusting.
Well, it hurts.
Yes. I'm like, it's painful to watch.
It's painful to watch. And Bruce Willis, he was filming Moonlighting at the same time. And so he'd be on the set during the day, and then at nights he would shoot this.
Yeah. And
then he was dating Demi Moore at the same time.
Oh my gosh.
Like his life was busy.
Yeah.
Like, and here he's making this movie, and everybody was when they first released it, I was looking this up. The marketing materials, like half of them didn't even have him on the poster.
Oh, that's right.
But it was just the building. Like they're like, oh, nobody's gonna care, and it got mixed reviews at the time. But it's so fucking enjoyable.
Yes.
It just really moves along quickly, and I think the music's great. I think the special effects are really cool.
Yeah, and
it feels very real.
Before CGI, so this is all practical stuff. There's a ton of explosions, like entire sections of this building explode, a helicopter explodes. There's a lot going on here, and it's real. It's really happening. It's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
And I wanted to mention something else about the vulnerability and how casting someone like Bruce Willis was so key, I think. Honestly, if they had cast like a Schwarzenegger, this is a totally different movie, and we're probably not talking about it the way we're talking about it now.
No, he was a smartass too. It was just kind of that smirk kind of thing.
Yeah.
Come to the coast, hang out, let's get together.
But there's this whole thing where he's not 100% sure he's going to make it, and he's talking to Al, and once again, that friendship is like the real love story of the movie. Mm-hmm. But he says like, I told my wife I loved her all the time, but I never said I was sorry, and tell her she's the best thing that ever happened to a bum like me. And the way he says it feels very real. And I really, really like that scene this time. It really worked for me. I think the performance really worked. And it's a classic for a reason.
Yeah.
Because it's fucking good. Yeah.
And Godunov is like at the end, like you can't kill him. He's just coming back for more. And then you cheer for Al shooting somebody.
I know, it's so weird. It's like, yeah.
It's so weird. Yay.
Yeah, you murdered that dude.
And Argyle's in like the least safe car ever, like about to take them away. But I'm in. I don't care. It's all fun.
It is. I think it is so fun. It's just I love how much this movie just moves. It's the director of photography is John DuBont, who did Speed, which is one of my faves.
Yeah, Twister.
And well, Twister's not one of my faves, but Speed is one of my favorite movies. And Speed is, one of those movies where you could say it's Die Hard on a bus. Like it's just, it looks good. It moves. The action is really awesome. The characters are so great. Like all the one-liners work for me. And then you get Alan Rickman as one of the best villains of all time, as Hans Gruber, and his like death scene is so fucking good.
How.
Like his death scene is so good.
Oh, it's great.
The
It's
slow,
awesome.
the slow motion falling, which I had heard before. I guess they did with a green screen or blue screen or whatever, and they told him we're going to drop you on 3, and then they dropped him on 1. So that's the look is pretty legit, and I'm like, that makes sense to me. But
Yeah.
It's just so good. It's just so good. Hans Gruber forever. I love that my niece was so obsessed with Hans Gruber, by the way. That's just, I mean, then she became very obsessed with Snape, too, when he played Snape. And it just became an all-around Alan Rickman obsession. But it all started with Hans Gruber.
I was friendly with someone on Twitter, and the day Alan Rickman died, she actually put out a tweet and said, "Who the hell is Alan Rickman? Why is everybody so upset?" I stopped following her. I'm just like, no.
Who doesn't know who Alan Rickman is?
I don't. This girl was weird. I was like, I can't.
That,
because you can find a way to look fucking something up.
yeah.
You know,
Also,
or,
yeah. Just have some empathy for people. Like his work meant a lot to a lot of people, and
yeah.
you know, Die Hard, Galaxy Quest, even Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, which we did an episode on. Alan Rickman is fucking gold in that movie.
He is incredible in that movie, and that's a bad movie.
Yeah.
But he's so good.
And
yeah.
he's good in everything. He's one of those people.
was.
Like we did an episode last year on Love Actually. That movie fucking sucks. We hate it. Alan Rickman's really good in it.
Yeah.
You know,
I saw him on Broadway.
Oh, you're so lucky.
Yeah. Yeah. It was incredible.
Oh, I love him. R.I.P.
R.I.P.
What else should we say
And
about?
Goodenough is gone.
Is he?
He died just a couple of years later.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's a bummer. He's a
Yeah.
really good villain in this.
He's fantastic.
Yeah, he's very scary, and their fight scene, it's brutal. It's
Yeah, it's
brutal.
intense. It is brutal, Sonia.
I totally forgot about Money Pit. I'm like gonna have to go back and watch it.
I used to love that movie. I've seen it a bunch of times. Like it's like early Tom Hanks, early Shelley Long.
Yes,
And Goodenough is like her ex-husband. And he's
Oh!
really funny.
that's right. We love some
He's like
Shelley
the
Long.
conductor. Yeah.
We love
Been a
some.
while.
We love Troop Beverly Hills on this podcast.
But you got you to watch.
I am not sorry. It's really good. You were right to recommend that movie to me. In fact, I should go watch it again this weekend since I'm recovering from my cold.
Yeah, there you go.
That's a good comfort movie. Is there anything else we want to say about Die Hard other than that it's a perfect Christmas movie?
Ho.
Do you want to hear about some other movies that came? It's so weird to think that this came out in the summer because we do think of it as a Christmas movie, but it came out in July 1988.
It's an action movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a popcorn movie.
Yeah. Would you like to hear some of the other movies that came out?
Yes, please.
A lot of sequels. Short Circuit 2.
Oh my God.
Can you imagine?
Who's Johnny? She said.
Oh my God. The fact that there was a 2. That's something. License to Drive.
I liked License to Drive. I
That's
have
the
to
one
admit.
with the Corys, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Arthur 2 on the Rocks.
Not a good movie.
No?
Boy, does that stink. Yeah.
The Deadpool. That's a
Is it-
that's a Clint Eastwood movie. It's one of the Dirty Harry
That's-
movies.
It's Jim Carrey as a
Yes.
rock star. Yes.
Maybe we should do that one sometime. I think that one might take place in San Francisco. I should.
Yeah, that's where he films it. Yeah.
Yeah, I should watch it. A Fish Called Wanda.
I love that movie. I haven't seen it in a while.
I'm sure that there are parts of A Fish Called
Yes.
Wanda that are problematic. I will still laugh my ass off when I watch it.
Exactly. Exactly.
It is really, really funny. And never forget that Kevin Kline won an Oscar for that movie.
That's true.
A well-deserved Oscar, in my opinion.
Yes.
Big Top Peewee.
Not a great movie.
No, and Pee-wee's Big Adventure is like a perfect comedy.
Yeah.
And Big Top Peewee was so disappointing. I tried to watch it. Maybe.
Benicio del Toro is in it. He plays like Dog Boy.
Oh,
or
that's
something.
right. Oh my God. I totally forgot that. I tried watching it last year with my son because we love Pee-wee's Big Adventure. And boy, he just got bored and moved on. He was not into Big Top Peewee. There was a re-release of Bambi.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm pretty sure I didn't go see it. Because that movie's a bummer.
It's a stone cold bummer.
Stone cold bummer. Midnight Run.
Perfect movie.
Perfect movie. So fucking good. Caddyshack 2.
Not good.
Not good. Everyone loves the first Caddyshack. I don't. I definitely didn't love the second one. I should rewatch Caddyshack. Maybe my opinion will change, but something about Caddyshack just does not do it for me.
Yeah, there's reasons. Yeah.
Yeah. But I do like Rodney Dangerfield because I think he's always funny.
So let's dance.
We need to, you know what? In the fall, we'll do Back to School because it's time. And then the last one I'm going to mention is Cocktail.
We covered Cocktail with Erica Bromley.
And it was such a good episode. We had such a good time. And that movie is bananas.
It's pretty amazing. It's got Elizabeth Shue and Tom Cruise.
She's wearing the most modest bathing suit in the Caribbean.
One-piece suit.
Yes.
Do you want to hear some songs from the summer of '88?
Yes, I do.
All right. Phil Collins, A Groovy Kind of Love.
Yes.
I love that song.
You couldn't get away from it.
No. Cheap Trick, The Flame.
Oh my gosh.
They were having their...
They were
having like a resurgence. I used to love Cheap Trick.
Yep.
Robert Palmer, Simply Irresistible.
That's a good song.
He was huge. New Edition, If It Isn't Love. I love that.
I still love that song. And that song is having like a little resurgence on TikTok if you're on TikTok.
Yeah.
I love it.
Boy Meets Girl, Waiting for a Star to Fall. It's cheesy.
That song was a fucking earworm.
Oh, yeah. Prince, Alphabet Street, which is a really good Prince song.
I love Prince songs.
And last one, Robert Plant, Tall, Cool One.
I don't hardly remember that one.
Yeah, I remember that one. They played it a lot.
In beer commercials?
It was beer commercials. It was like, Robert Plant, like the rock stations I listened to.
Yeah. That's a good list, though. What else are you dorking out about?
I just finished on Apple Plus Shrink Next Door.
Ooh, how was it?
It's excellent. It's infuriating.
Okay.
Paul Rudd and Will Ferrell, and they actually do a thing where they make Paul Rudd look old because it takes place over 30 years. It's a little freaky. It's a little spooky. Katherine Hahn is in this. I love her. Amazing. I love her. It was really good. I would definitely check it out. It'll make you angry, but it'll also really make you sad in some spots. But overall, it's a really interesting story. And then I just finished last night Hulu, Pen 15. They had the last few episodes. It was really good. I watched a Muppet Christmas Carol.
Of course you did.
Loved it.
It's so good.
God, is that good?
I think it's one of the best Christmas carols.
Absolutely. And I also rewatched Home Alone because I watch that every year at this time.
How was the rewatch?
I loved it. It's great. It makes no goddamn sense. I mean, at no time, like, nobody can check on Kevin. Like, literally every single person in the neighborhood. Right. He can't go to one neighbor.
Nope.
No, I mean, like, for a day and a half, nobody can call him. Nobody, like, I mean, and then he makes I always think of this too. I'm like, he makes a mess in that house. Mm-hmm. And, like, did he clean it up by himself? Like, how did he do anyone? Did the old guy, like, next door help him? But I still love it. I love the old man scene with him. Mm-hmm. I think that's a really nice touch.
It's an entertaining movie for sure. I haven't watched it in a long time, but my son is at that age where he might really like Home Alone. I should show it to him.
I love it.
I'm going to show it to him.
What are you talking about?
Things that are not as fun is what you're watching. So I watched on Netflix The Power of the Dog.
Oh, is that good?
It's really, really good. It's so good. It's directed by Jane Campion, who did like the piano, and it stars Benedict Cumberbatch and Kirsten Dunst and
Jesse.
yes, Jesse,
her husband.
yes, Helmson. I want to say
Helmsenberger.
And Benedict Cumberbatch is playing the biggest fucking dick. He's such a dick in this movie. And her and Kirsten Dunst and her real life husband fall in love and they get married. And Benedict Cumberbatch plays his brother that is just, he's so angry and just starts trying to drive her mad and break her down. He basically drives her to drink. She has like a grown son. He forms kind of a weird relationship with the son. And I don't want to say any more because it will spoil things. I think it's important you don't know that much when you go into it. But everyone in it is really, really great. I think this is the best Benedict Cumberbatch has ever been. And I
like him.
And I really like him. Like, I think he's a great Doctor Strange. I loved Sherlock. I thought he was so great. I think this is the best he's ever been. And I thought Kirsten Dunst was really, really great in it too. It's a dark, fucked up movie, but I really liked it. And then on the flip side of that, I watched the documentary about Julia Child, which is done by the same people who did the Ruth Bader Ginsburg documentary.
Oh, okay.
And it's really good. It's so good. It's just all about her life, like how she grew up, how she met her husband, how she fell into cooking, how she kind of almost accidentally ended up like doing a cooking show on public television and how it just went off from there. And she was just such a character.
She's a badass.
A total badass. Someone who like, she would just like learn from her mistakes. Like, you see her do it in the kitchen where she'll like, they would film so much of that stuff in like one take. And if she fucked something up, she would just run with it. And I thought that was awesome. And then there were just things in her life where like, you know, she was kind of homophobic. Like, she would say a lot of messed up things and then realized that like someone she knew was gay and dying of AIDS, and she realized how wrong she was. And then she started doing all these AIDS charity benefits to raise money. Like, just, we talk about this on What a Creep a lot. The people who are willing to learn from their mistakes and admit when they're wrong. And she was one of those people. And she just seemed like it's just such a character. Like, it makes you wish you knew her so bad and you wanted to eat with her so bad. And
yeah,
it's really, really well done. It's really terrific. I rented it on Amazon Prime. I think it's worth it. It's real good.
Yeah, it was like $20. So I was like, I don't know if I want to.
Was it? Money. Is it 20? I'm like, clearly.
You're in a Theraflu haze. You're just pushing buttons.
Theraflu.
Sure.
Theraflu Sonia don't give a fuck.
Yeah, but sober Margo is like $19.99. What's on Prime for free?
Just so everyone knows, I do have a nasty cold, but I don't have COVID. I took the test. I don't have COVID. But yeah, I'm taking a lot of Theraflu, and clearly Theraflu Sonia don't give a fuck about how much things cost, and she is just renting $20 documentaries. Hey, big spender. This was so fun. Margo, where can people find you on the internet?
You could find me at Brooklyn Fitchick for Twitter and Instagram. My site is brooklynfitchick.com, and I'm starting TikTok.
You are, and you're so good at it.
I'm getting the hang of it.
You put some Die Hard content up there that made me laugh out loud.
And my cats and some other stuff. I have a chunky cat, so that's under my name, Margo Donahue.
You should
follow me.
Follow her and check it out. Her Die Hard stuff was cracking me up. It was Argyle and John Mcclane riding in the limo, and she was changing the songs out that they were listening to. It was cracking me up. You can find me at thesoniashow.com and The Sonia Show on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok, where I'm sharing my ideas for stores like Forever 51.
She was viral, y'all, for like a minute there. It was like a shooting star.
Yeah, it was fun.
You got to follow Sonia. She's got the good ideas.
Yeah, don't steal them. And if you like the sound of our voices, we also co-host a podcast called What a Creep, where we talk about creeps of the past and the present. And right now we have a bonus episode out where we talk to the ladies from Trashy Divorces, and that was really fun. We love them.
So amazing. Yeah.
We love them. And if you like this show and you want to go on Apple Podcasts and give us a good review, that would be dope. It would really offset the ones we get from people who give us 1 star because they don't like the idea of our show. Email us at Dorking.
Never heard it, but...
Never listened to it, but 1 star. DorkingOutShow@gmail.com. You could get some stickers. They're really, really cute. I think they're really cute. Anyway, they're adorable. Everybody drink. And thanks for talking about Die Hard with me, Margo. This was super fun. It really got me in the spirit.
Get me my detonators. Ho, ho, ho.